Hi, everyone. This is Shirley Young, and welcome to Build a Wealth Strategy and Mindset Expert Talk Series, where we're going to talk about proven strategies to build wealth, pay off debt, and live more fully. I'm delighted to have today's guest here with us, Martina Zorc. She is a transformational coach, a sacred money archetype certified coach, the founder and CEO of the $1 Million Yes Club. Martina comes from a background of law and has a Master of Law and Economics. She went from working all hours of the day, 7 days a week, and making little to no money, to finally choosing her calling as a spiritual teacher with a heart-centered message for a larger audience, and she has never looked back. Today, Martina helps coaches and other transformational service-based entrepreneurs worldwide with wealth consciousness, branding, and marketing, so that they can become magnetically irresistible to their ideal clients and opportunities, and grow their business exponentially while enjoying life more than ever before. Welcome, Martina, and thank you for being on this interview series with us.
Well, hi, Shirley, and thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. And, you had a pretty amazing transformation yourself from being in law and now a coach, and coaches so many people. Could you tell us a little bit of what you do?
Sure. Yeah, so in short, I help transformational entrepreneurs like coaches, consultants, authors, speakers, and other service-based leaders create and grow a thriving lifestyle-friendly business so that they can keep saying yes to their desires, keep increasing their impact, and never again worry about money.
That's great. And when you work with your clients, do you have a wealth building system that you use? And can you share that with us?
Yes. I never actually thought about it in these terms, but I think I do. And I think I do have one for myself, and then I help for my own signature system. I help my clients achieve the same or better results. So if I tell you, do you want me to tell you a little bit about how I approach business and what my personal wealth-building system is first, and then we can go more into how I help my clients? Awesome.
Yes, that would be great.
Great. So basically, what I realized, what I've learned from my journey as an entrepreneur, and for the first 4 years of my business, I was struggling financially, and it was really not good. It was very painful, and I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. Because as you said in the beginning, when you were introducing me, I was really working hard, or so I thought, and I had all these external strategies in place, or at least, based on what I was putting into my business, I should have seen a lot more results. And they weren't there. And I felt very disenchanted, and I was even considering, possibly getting a job just because, I had to make some money, and it was horrible. But then I realized that what was missing was a healthy relationship with money and a strong wealth consciousness. And so I believe I had to go for this journey to really and come to the other end of the tunnel, where now I'm making consistent money and it's increasing, and I feel better than ever before as an entrepreneur, and I get to help a lot more people. I had to go through all of this to realize that there's only one way to create wealth in entrepreneurship, and that is having a holistic approach, which means that you do take care of your internal mechanisms of success, which is the wealth consciousness piece, and then the healthy, friendly relationship with money so that you're not pushing it away. And on the other side, the external strategies, which are, branding and marketing and sales, everything you do to promote your business, to get visible, and to then get clients, to successfully enroll people into your programs and, inspire them to say yes to your products and services. So basically, that is the foundation of it, right? You need to have both sides of the coin, and that's one very, very important piece that I wanted to share. The other essential piece is that I believe in multiple streams of income. I currently run 2 businesses or 2 brands. One is my local brand in Slovenia in Europe, and then the other one is global. And I approach these 2 markets in different ways because they are different markets. Even though like I have the same message, it's one me, right? But I offer different things, and I focus on different types of offerings based on where the market is at. Right, so the Slovene coaching market is a lot newer than the international one, to give you an example. So I approach it from a different viewpoint versus, like what I do with my international community. So that's the second tip that I wanted to share. Kind of don't just rely on one stream of income, because that is very risky. And then the third piece is the business model. Choose something that allows you to leverage your knowledge, your time, your energy, everything that you are and that you stand for. If you just rely on trading, your time for dollars or any other currency, depending on where you live, it's not going to be conducive to wealth. So it's really important that you take a look at how you're structuring your offers and the flow of how clients can take a journey with you, and really do it in a way that supports your desires and your ideal lifestyle. So these are the 3 main basically pillars of my personal beliefs around how to build wealth. And then the bonus one, if you want, is that I never stop investing in myself. I think investing in yourself and your knowledge, your advancement is crucial to actually grow a lot faster and easier than I didn't have to take 4 years to actually stop struggling, and I was investing along the way, but I just didn't come across the right information at the right time. So it was somehow I guess it was circumstances or something, or it had to happen that way, which is what I actually believe. But what I'm saying is that, if you keep investing and you invest in a smart way, in the right strategies and the right mentorship, then you can really grow exponentially, and you can make a much bigger difference in the world a lot faster.
Wow, that's a great answer and a great system that you have for yourself, and also, and I think everyone can use that and have those pillars that they can go by. So for the top 3 essential principles to building wealth, do you have top 3 principles, and if you go by them, how you're going to build wealth?
Sure. Yeah, I absolutely do believe in these principles that I'm going to share, and I share them with my clients, and I live by them as well. Because I have found that they are just crucial to advancing. If you don't want to be stuck or feel very heavy because something is wearing you down and you feel like you can't move forward, then this is what I suggest you do. Number 1, make a decision. I just posted that on Facebook, that success is a matter of choice, and it's really the decision that starts moving the energy. And we know that money is energy as well, right? So if you actually find yourself stuck in the money department, and there's no flow, or there's less flow than what you would like it to be, it starts with a decision. When you decide that you're going for something, or that you're saying yes to a desire, then the money for it appears. Right? Because you start moving the energy, and without a decision, you can't move forward. In business, we have to make decisions very fast. Remember Napoleon Hill's quote from Think and Grow Rich: successful people make decisions fast, and they change them, if ever, very slowly, and unsuccessful or less successful people do the opposite. Right? So I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially the gist of it. So making decisions is really, really important. And I've learned that also from a billionaire mentor that I worked with for 2 years. And it's just the speed, right? And that's actually, I'm going to talk more about that maybe later if there's a chance, but the speed of how you move in business is essential to your growth. Like, you can't be in indecision and be in kind of like that wishy-washy energy and expect amazing things and money miracles to happen. It just doesn't work that way. You have to send really strong messages to the universe. So that's tip number one. The second essential principle is that you need to prioritize money and wealth. If money is not very high up on your priority list in your life and in your business, then guess what? It's not coming. Because what we focus on expands. So it's very crucial that if you want more money and more wealth in your life, then absolutely make it a priority. And when you do, then you start, acting differently as well, because it's not just about aligning our inner, thoughts and beliefs with wealth and with everything that's possible for us. It's also about taking that right action that is going to take us further and actually send the right message to the universe so that we have actually a container to receive all the good fortune that is flowing in. And principle number 3 that I wanted to share is identity. It's around identity. How do you see yourself? If you see yourself as a broke entrepreneur, then that's who you're going to be. And if you see yourself as a millionaire, that's what's going to happen for you, right? Of course, the right action needs to happen as well, and so on and so on. But it starts with that sense of identity. And you need to start to keep asking yourself the question and acting as if, right? How would a, 7-figure, whatever the number is for you, business owner, how would they, react in this situation? How would they act? What decisions would they make? How would they choose to use their time? Whatever it is, make decisions. If we go back to principle number 1, from that place of a new identity that you want to have as that successful business owner that already has created a certain amount of wealth.
That's great. And when you start building wealth, you must have some habits, and a lot of people will have habits, good and bad. And so, what are the good 3 wealth building habits to have for one to start building that wealth?
Great question. I believe the first one is to have a no matter what attitude and no excuses whatsoever. There are no excuses. There's always a choice. It's also very empowering, right? Because no matter what is happening to us, we know that it's a choice, that we could change it, and there's, for some reason, we are still letting it be. So the no excuses policy is, I believe, key. And then one of those pieces is around tracking your income daily. No excuses there either, right? Like it just takes 3 minutes a day, and it can increase your income, tremendously in a very short period of time, because as I mentioned before, what you focus on expands. So it's really important that you do track your, everything that is coming in, that you track it on a separate piece of paper that you keep on your desk in a translucent folder so that it's always there. And every night or at the end of every business day, you put in the number that came in, even if it was a gift or, if you found it on the street, or you put a 0. And I make it, by the way, as a bonus tip, I make it very beautiful by actually adding like a very inspiring photo to each month's tracking sheet so that it inspires me. It's not so boring looking, right? And it's an exercise that I advise to all my clients and my communities and so on, and it works. And a lot of my colleagues are using it, and it's just when I started using it, my income became consistent and it started increasing. So, like for 3 minutes a day, I would say it's worth it. So try it.
Yeah, no, I will try it, definitely.
So basically the second habit, wealth building habit, that I'd like to share with you and your our listeners, is, as I mentioned, speed, right? Speed in making decisions, implementing. Money loves speed. We need to move really fast. We need to test concepts fast. If something doesn't work, let's fail fast, in quotes, right? Like nothing is really, I don't believe in failure, but it's all just information. But we want to get that information fast so that we can actually move on to something that's going to work better and that is going to allow us to leverage more of our expertise, our time, that it's going to be more efficient, more productive as an activity in our business. And that links to habit number 3, which is do more of what works and stop doing what doesn't. I see so many entrepreneurs that are stuck with systems or lack thereof that don't work, that are either full of holes, or they're simply outdated, or they just don't inspire them, so then they don't feel connected or compelled to actually do something with them. So basically, like, don't stay in the zone of things that are not working, that are maybe a so-so level of efficiency, right? Like, you really want to go for the excellence, and you want to go for successful activities that are income generating and make every single day a success. That's another thing that I learned from Wallace D. Wattles, from his The Science of Getting Rich. These 2 books, Napoleon Hill's and Wallace D. Wattles, these 2 are the Bibles, in quotes, of wealth consciousness. So I think everybody should read them, and more than once if possible. So I wanted to add that as well.
That's great. And those are great habits to maintain and keep, not just for business, but even for everyday life. No excuses, track all your budget, or if you make a decision, do it quick, just do it. And don't think back. So how did you transform your dreams to wealth into reality? Because you did that. You went from being in law, and now you're an entrepreneur. You're a successful entrepreneur. And how did you there to here?
Well, first it took a leap of faith, right? I was actually working as a lawyer in an asset management firm in the legal department, and the people were great, but I was miserable, and I didn't have any business knowledge back then, any contacts in the business world, any savings, and it was the middle of the recession, right? So it's actually, it's not exactly the best time to quit your job and start a business in the best circumstances if you look from the outside. But I've always been a huge optimist, and I knew that I had to leave because there was something more for me to do in life, and I just wanted to feel lit up about what I was doing in life. So basically, I took the jump, and then the net appeared, right? Like in business, you need to take risks. And of course, you make sure that they are smart risks. And I did have a plan on how to make it happen. And I did borrow some money from my now husband, then boyfriend, to start my business, because where I live, it's quite challenging to get a credit card starting out in business. You actually have to have super positive cash flow to get a credit card. So it's very difficult at the beginning. But basically, that leap of faith is what was the step number 1. I would say the next step is to really understand first of all, understand who you are and what's important to you, what's your money personality. That's why I'm so excited, for example, about money archetypes, because they really help you understand your, how you do money, and how we do money is how we do everything. So it's really cool to actually get this sense of what's driving us when it comes to money, and how, what lifts us up and what activities connected to money are our gifts, what are our challenges. So kind of like really getting to know yourself is, I believe, very, very important. The other piece is getting to know in depth your wealth consciousness, your beliefs around wealth, about successful people, about money in general, about business. Kind of like you need to know who you are and where your starting point is, basically. And it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 20 years or if you're just starting out. Like at any given moment, I believe it's important to have that core understanding of yourself. The next step is to have actually a strategy for how to improve your wealth consciousness and your relationship with money, so that you become a money and wealth magnet versus driving money and wealth away, right? Because like a lot of people, they say they want more money, but they are repelling it because they feel they're in a very controversial way towards it. They feel they have either a love-hate relationship with it, or they are completely disconnected from it, or they have the belief from their childhood, let's say, that wealthy people are bad, and they don't want to be bad, right? So they don't see themselves. It's again, that sense of identity. So like, these are very crucial topics, and like we need to have a strategy to constantly improve on these internal mechanisms, because that is what is going to determine how well we do in business. And it's why we always hear and say that our personal growth is directly correlated to our business growth, like, and vice versa. Like they go hand in hand. You can't grow in business if you don't grow as a person, because it's more important who you are than and what your why is than what you do a lot of times. So have that very strong plan on how you're going to advance in this area. The next piece to transforming your dreams of wealth into reality, I believe, is to have the right mix of feminine and masculine energy in your life, so that you don't feel exhausted, and at the same time you're not just floating through life, right? That you're grounded, that you get things done, and at the same time you take care of yourself, of the other aspects of your life, and that you are able to really tune into your intuition and hear it really well, because that is a very strong tool all of us have to grow our businesses a lot faster. If our intuition is rarely wrong, but we need to be able to discern whether that little voice in our head is our intuition, or is it more fear or something else, right? Like it's very important to, again, going back to the importance of knowing yourself. So, and then the last piece that I wanted to share here is that I believe it's important to be ambitious, to really desire growth, to not settle for where you are right now. I don't have a judgment for people who do settle, but I believe that in entrepreneurship, it's just not how we are wired, right? And if we want to grow, then we need to want it, because it's our desires that drive our results. So it's very crucial to actually, own this ambition, as one of my mentors says, and to really prioritize growth. Like, what has to happen for you to actually make your dream a reality? Like, get really grounded and real with it, and adopt that no matter what attitude. Go for it. It's your time now.
Wow. No, you have very good logical steps into your way of thinking, and I guess it's the lawyer side of your the technical side, and it's very clear. And so that's a great strategy. How do you move from one point to another point? And so building a good mindset is very important when you're reaching for your financial wealth. Can you, do you have anything you can talk about having a good mindset?
Well, sure. It's a huge topic, obviously. And what I would like to share on this point is that I believe it's really important that you surround yourself with people that have the mindset that you'd like to have, that have the results that you're dreaming of, that are acting in a certain way that you'd like to be acting in your life, right? So that you actually surround yourself with that type of entrepreneurs. And even, there might be also people from other walks of life that have the same attitude. It's more about, at the end of the day, it's more about the mindset than what somebody does. It's about that success orientation, right? And that is one of the key things. And it's also the fastest way, I believe, of adopting a very wealthy mindset yourself, because it's almost like it happens through osmosis, right? It's like it's a transference of good fortune and of a way of thinking, of a way of being. Like, I know that being around a billionaire mentor for 2 years has changed me. And I don't even know when. Like, I can't point a finger, but to a specific moment. But just being in her presence, right, and seeing how she makes decisions and how she thinks, that has really changed the way I was looking at, or I am looking at business now. So that's probably the easiest way for everybody to actually start advancing in the mindset area. And you can, it could be a mentor, it could be a community, it could be going to entrepreneurial events of a certain caliber. It could be hanging out more with other successful entrepreneurs. It could look in a lot of different ways, but it's a very powerful strategy, and and everybody can do it. The other piece is reading wealth consciousness books. I mentioned 2 today that are, I believe, where everybody can start. And then looking for evidence that what you desire truly is possible. Be inspired by success stories of other people. If they could achieve something, then you can too. You're no different, and business is not rocket science, and it's not some magic that is available just to some people, which is what I believed. For 4 years, I believed that I couldn't make money. That's what was stopping me from actually, creating a thriving business. And so, if I went back and actually focused more on looking for evidence how it's possible and how I'm no different than other people, that maybe I'm smarter than actually a lot of them that were already making money, which I'm sure it's the same for you, right? Then I would have created my business that I have today a lot faster, and it's just the beginning. So what I'm trying to say is that don't let yourself get stuck in doubt or fear. And it's all a decision, right? You can decide today that you're no longer available to not have the money for everything you desire. And once you make that decision, then, the net will appear, the next step will appear. You'll come across the right mentor, the right community, the right information. Everything will start opening up, and you will start hearing more of what your truth is, and follow those desires and say yes and yes and yes to everything that's calling you. And there's really space for taking a stand for the end, as one of my mentors says, and let go of the either or, right? It's so important to actually live the mindset that you're trying to adopt, because it's sending the universe the message that you already have it and you just want more of it, versus sending the message that you're disconnected. It's something completely foreign to you. So it's a very interesting topic, and I would say start where you're at and hang on to that, even if it's just a little piece that you have of a positive mindset. Start there and then expand it, and go deeper, go wider, start talking to people that have achieved a certain level of success that you desire. It's all about starting where you're at and being relentless about growing.
Wow. No, that's a great lots of great idea for building a good mindset. So my last question for yourself is, do you have few motivational tips that you can share with someone who is in debt and can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so what steps can you recommend them for them to work their way out of debt and then start building wealth and then live more fully?
Sure. So basically, the first thing I'd like to share is that it's not an either or, right? It's not like you don't need to wait to start building wealth until like you have your debt paid off. So a lot of people feel like this is this huge burden hanging over their head and they need to pay everything off before they actually allow themselves to have what they desire, right? But it's not really how it works. So if it's not your heart's desire to pay the debt off immediately in full, right, then you will have a hard time manifesting the money for that purpose because it's not going to be on purpose for you in that moment. So, of course, absolutely, you have to respect the payment plan and all of that. And I don't know if that means paying the minimum on every credit card or whatever that is for you. But for a lot of people, it's actually the way to wealth goes through handling their debt, absolutely, but actually instead of paying it off in full immediately, saying yes to their true desires at that moment, like, traveling or even investing in a program, buying a beautiful purse because that's what lights you up and makes you feel like $1 million business owner you want to be, for example. Really going for where you feel more life, because more life means more money, because money is energy and it always supports more life. So if you actually live more, if you allow yourself to live more, you'll be able to create more money. Of course you'll be paying off debt, but really, like, my point is, don't feel guilty or ashamed or in any way negatively about having that, because that is just a tool. And even if you created it for the wrong reasons in the past, that's in the past, and you can always make more than enough money to pay it off. It's just money, and making money is actually very easy once you have the strategies in place. And believe me, I get it that maybe it sounds a little strange right now for some of you, because it would have sounded strange for me for even just 2-3 years ago, but that's the reality, and that is just giving you information about what you value now, what you valued in the past, how the feelings that you have around it can really shed light on what your relationship with money is. It's a huge gift, this situation, having that, right? And having that is actually, if it's a smart debt, then it's absolutely a way to build your business. If you invest in growth and you're not available to not have an ROI on your investment, then it's all good. And what I'd like to say is that, when it comes to debt and creating wealth, it's always, the formula is very simple. Follow your desires. Make sure that you have a strong wealth consciousness, that you believe that you can pay everything off and you can have more left over for other things. Create a strong relationship with money that is friendly and kind of a love affair, right? And then take action, take inspired action, so that you're not just sitting on the couch waiting for money miracles to happen, but you are an active creator of your life, because that's who we are. We are all manifestors. And you can always make more money, as I said. So I really believe that every single person that has the dream of becoming a successful entrepreneur can do it, and the strategies are available, and it's, again, just a matter of choice.
Wow. And so that is, I like it. It's just a tool. You have to pay it off. And also, basically make more than what you spend and spend less than what you make, I guess. Would that apply to this about creating wealth?
Well, I have maybe a slightly different or even controversial philosophy around this. A lot of people focus a lot on their budgeting and on actually and what is going out, and absolutely I believe in optimizing your expenses and being very mindful about what you invest in. Absolutely, don't get me wrong, but I believe that it's a lot more important. If I had to choose personally, if I had to choose how to use my time, and on the one hand, I would have, the opportunity to actually engage in income-generating activities and make more money. And on the other hand, I would actually have the opportunity to use my time in a way to make sure that I'm not paying a cent more on anything and optimizing everything. Like, I would choose making more money any day, right? Because it's about expansion. It's about, there's always more. We live in an abundant world. And so to me, when for a busy entrepreneur, I believe that focusing on making more money is going to be a faster path to a healthy, to healthy income or in cash flow, versus, focusing most of the time on actually looking at what is going out and making sure that you're not spending more and not investing, kind of feeling in that crunch. Because the problem is that you can really easily slip into crunch mode where you feel like everything is shrinking, right? And you need to be so careful that you're not overspending, that there's lag, that you're going to create lack or stress or worry about money. There's a lot of that energy that can kind of suck you into this vortex if you're not careful, versus if you focus on while of course being responsible, if you focus on building wealth in the true sense of the meaning, where you actually generate more wealth through adding more value to the world, right? Then you don't this other side of the expenses and what is going out. Yes, it can be optimized. Yes, it should be optimized, but it's not going to determine how you feel about yourself, your success, and you'll be able to move forward faster. That's my personal belief, and I'm not saying that it's the only way, but it's my choice, my personal choice on what to focus on.
No, that is great, and it's good that you mentioned that creating wealth is more important, because that's going to get you out of debt. And so, thank you, Martina. You provided us so much great information. I know you have a free gift for our audience. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So it's the Get Fluent in Money and Become Irresistibly Profitable Success Kit, and it consists of the Sacred Money Archetypes assessment that will reveal your top 3 and your last archetype. There are 8 of them, and it's very fun. And then I have an audio that I called Manifesting a Six-Figure Business While Living Your Best Life, How to Align Yourself with the Universal Energy of Wealth and Get Fluent in Money. So it's a very comprehensive audio training. And then you'll have the opportunity to apply for a complimentary Get Fluent in Money and Become Irresistibly Profitable Skype strategy session with me. So as I said, it's a success kit, and you can get it at themilliondolleryesclub.com/success kit.
That's great. I thank you again for joining us today. I want to thank everyone. Have a great day, and thank you again.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you so much for inviting me. I enjoyed this conversation a lot. I hope our audience got a lot out of it, and I wish everyone an amazing year.
Thanks.